Welcome to the Goddess Workshop with me, Suzanne Corby. I have for many years been a devotee of the Goddess, from a young girl reaching out to the moon at night, through years of study and devotion, to a priestess helping others to discover her for themselves. If you have bought this CD, something inside of you is likely to be calling her already, searching within yourself for that place that is more than you are already aware of. And it has brought you here to this moment because you seek that connection. So trust the path that has brought you this far already. It means your journey to the Goddess has begun. You can listen to this CD all in one go, or you can listen to the parts that draw you the most. In this CD you will find meditations, exercises, and affirmations to awaken your connection to the Goddess. This would be a good time to begin a diary if you wish, and note down any feelings or thoughts you may have as a result of any of the meditations or exercises you'll be doing. And this is worth referring to now and then as you develop and learn. You'll be amazed what this can reveal. It's also a valuable exercise to keep a dream diary, which you can place close to your bed at night for jotting down your dreams first thing upon waking. The Goddess often speaks to us in our dreams, sometimes when we least expect it. You may wish to set aside a small area to become your shrine to the Goddess. It can be as large and ornate as you wish, or as small and inconspicuous to suit your way of life. It could even be a corner in your garden. Think carefully where to set aside this space, as this can become an important and special focus for your meditation and inner work. It is vital, though, that once you set it aside, you keep it for that purpose alone and look after it with care and attention. This helps build a sense of sacred and communion in your mind that affirms the connection with the Goddess. You can use the invocations to call upon the Goddess as you commence your meditation. A small shelf with a clean cloth and a candle can be a start. You can add some fresh flowers in the summer. You can also add items that bring the Goddess you are focusing on to mind, such as a moon shell for Diana, a piece of rose quartz for Aphrodite, a corn dolly for Demeter, and so on. Researching what is sacred to each goddess can not only be a fascinating journey by itself, but also forms part of the way that connection begins. For example, dedicating your shrine to Athena may begin with a candle and a cloth. On researching Athena, you would discover that a robe was embroidered for her every year in ancient Greece. So maybe you would care to embroider that cloth. You might then add a small statue of an owl sacred to Athena, representing her eyes of wisdom. And what begins to happen in your consciousness is that the symbols begin to resonate with you on a deep level. You begin to question what these practices and symbols mean and why they are her symbols. You might start even to dream about Athena's helmet or her shield, which in turn might lead you to research all about these items and what they represented. And before you know it, you are communicating with the path of Athena, and you are learning how to stand up for yourself in a dignified way, how to plan the strategy of your life, how to sharpen your wits and develop intelligence and wisdom. In other words, you're learning how to become Athena, because that is what happens. We learn to become the Goddess we resonate with. We learn to bring out that which lies deep within our souls, waiting for us to call upon. Whatever you do with your shrine, use it for your meditations and affirmations. Light a candle or a joss stick and settle down for your sacred time just between you and the Goddess. Practice the meditation or repeat one or more of the affirmations over several times. You could use a string of beads to help you with the affirmations if you wanted, maybe even making a set of beads in the colour you consider most appropriate. And these can be kept on your shrine for this purpose with an image of the Goddess you are working with. You may find on revisiting the CD from time to time as you grow and learn that goddesses that did not spring out to you before do so now, or that goddesses you once had a very strong connection with do not draw you in the same way that they used to. You may even find you explore many of them and end where you began, with the same goddess that you started with, but with a new and revealing insight. And you may be drawn to one goddess and remain with her all your life. These are the ways the path of the goddess reveals itself to us, a spiral path that takes us on an inner journey to discover our own connection to her. So let us begin. There are many forms of the goddess, and yet all goddesses are one. They are all facets from the same gem known as the divine feminine. The ancient Greeks would honor the goddess with Homeric hymns, which created an image of the goddess in the mind of the listener. Then she was invited into the home to be present or to provide a blessing. Thus the goddess was imagined and then invoked. We could learn a thing or two from them about inviting the goddess into our lives and our homes. The word goddess means a female divine being, and she has been around for many thousands of years. Our ancestors worshipped her as the divine mother goddess, the source of all life, and there are many statues and painted images of her that go back thousands of years before Greece, before Egypt, and before any known civilization. They show the figure of a woman with large breasts and belly, offering an abundance of fertility, nourishment, and creation. Men, women, and children worshipped her, and in these modern times many cultures around the world still revere her in a variety of images. To the Hindus, she is Lakshmi, Sarasvati, Durga, Maya, Kali, and Ganga, to name a few. To the Japanese, the sun goddess Amaterasu is honored as Divine Mother. Kuan Yin has many followers in China, and in South America, offerings are left in the sea at the annual festival of the sea goddess Yamanya. The goddess Sedna is venerated with the Inuit people, and although not a goddess, the Virgin Mary is honored as a divine female in the Christian theology. She has also returned to our modern world as Gaia, after the Greek goddess of the earth, as a name used again by scientists to raise environmental concerns, and she has come to our consciousness in the immensely popular book and film of the Da Vinci Code. The goddess has returned. For women, she represents the connection with our own spiritual essence, regardless of faith or creed. She helps us to acknowledge our shadow self, appreciate our power, and discover the wisdom that is inherent in our souls. An awareness of the goddess can help you develop love when you feel alone, understand compassion when none is given, and stand up for yourself when you have never done so before. It's an empowering awareness to understand that she's in every living thing, from the plants and trees to the stars and moon, from the sea and the earth to our mothers and our children, our friends and our lovers. She is always there, waiting only for us to be aware of her presence. For men, a connection with the goddess helps them to understand the need to let go and relinquish control, to accept nurturing and compassion as powerful allies instead of weakness, and to acknowledge their own need for love and their ability and strength to give it. As the author Phyllis Curott says, the goddess restores balance to a man's soul. It can be extremely helpful to call upon the goddess to develop something that would appear to be missing in us at a certain time, or to aid us at a particular moment in our lives. It is possible to invoke the goddess by consciously making an effort to feel or sense her presence, or bring her into our consciousness with the aid of meditation, visualization, prayers, and affirmations. I include some of these connected with each of the goddesses we explore in this CD. So if the goddess had called you to listen to these words, let us keep her waiting no longer and explore the world of the divine feminine and the goddess within ourselves. There is widespread evidence of the worship of a triple goddess representing 3 phases of the moon, and these 3 phases encompass the whole of a woman's life. The moon cycle itself is closely connected with women as we follow a similar monthly cycle. This is the moon goddess seen as maiden, mother, and crone. The cycle of 3 representing birth, growth, and death bring an awareness of the cycles we travel through in our lives, which teaches us to understand the process of change and the gifts each phase offers. The Greek maiden goddess of the moon is Artemis, the personification of an independent feminine spirit, which enables a woman to seek her own goals on the terrain of her own choosing. Independent, wild and free, we see her as a young woman running barefoot through the woods with animals following her. You sense her when you treasure your independence and freedom without fear or guilt, and when you claim your inner spirit for yourself. Many young women can identify with Artemis as they set out to forge their own lives, sometimes differently to the way they have been raised. Some women discover Artemis when previously having been nurturers and pleasers, they unravel a desire to do something unrestrained and adventurous. Connecting to the goddess Artemis enables a woman to feel complete without a partner. She can pursue her interests, work, or career without needing approval from anyone, as her identity and self-worth is based on who she is and what she does. As a goddess that preferred the hunt and the wild of nature to the company of men, we often find Artemis when we walk through a wood and connect with the wild and free nature, as opposed to our tame and controlled gardens. Another virgin goddess is the Greek Athene, who joined men on equal terms and bettered them. She was a queen of strategy, and she became like them. You can see Athena women as lawyers and corporate executives who have great minds and work equally with men in their world. We call upon her when we need a cool, clear head, strength, and mature independence. Artemis is a powerful, free-thinking, free-spirited goddess. We may call upon her because we need to be more independent, more challenged, or more in touch with our instincts. Or perhaps we're young and beginning to awaken who we really are. Artemis women are women who do their own thing without personal support and can often be found as athletes, feminists, businesswomen, horsewomen. Whatever your age, race, faith, or creed, the goddess Artemis can awaken your strength, your independence, your freedom, and your drive. Here is a meditation to connect with Artemis. Relax your body and bring your attention to within yourself. Become aware of your breathing and breathe slowly and deeply. Allow yourself to relax completely. Relax your arms, your legs, your back, your head. Just feel yourself gently relaxing and letting yourself go. Clear your mind. Focus on your breathing. And become aware that you are walking down the stone steps of an ancient pathway. And as you come to the end of the stone steps, you can see a forest in front of you. The sun is setting, and you can still see the glimmer of its last rays filter through the leaves, lighting up the forest here and there. You're alone in the forest, yet you feel completely safe. All your senses are alive to everything in the forest. You can hear the odd rustle of leaves or undergrowth as a wild animal here and there disturbs the silence. This forest is familiar to you. You have been here before, and many times have walked through the trees, alongside the stream that runs through it. As the sun begins to set, you become aware of the creatures of the night awakening. An owl calls, and through the trees you see a crescent moon begin to rise. As you see the moon through the trees, it glows brightly and almost appears to move towards you. You hear a wolf howl and sense a gathering momentum heading your way. You're not afraid, but you're intrigued and wondrous and feel a sense of excitement at the approach of what seems to be the light of a crescent shape. As the light approaches, you not only hear the wolf now, but dogs barking, and the sound of animals moving swiftly through the forest, the sound of the leaves under their feet rustling and branches cracking. As the light comes through the trees, you can see that the crescent moon is shining on the forehead of a young woman laughing as she runs. She's wearing a loose, short, white tunic, silver sandals. She carries a silver bow and arrows. Her hair is flying free, and animals are running with her and around her. You feel caught up in the excitement, and you can't help it. You begin to run with them, feeling the air rush against your face, and the tremendous sense of adventure that only heading into the unknown can bring. Your feet have never felt so light. You feel possessed with an energy you never knew you had. Trees seem to move out of their way for you, and you feel a kinship with the goddess, with the animals and the forest itself, that accepts you for who you are in your soul and not for anything else. The sense of empowerment and freedom you experience is exhilarating. You run with them all for a while, until gradually they seem to fade into the distance, and you begin to slow down. You can see the crescent moon slowly rising above the trees, and you realize your experience of running with the goddess of the hunt is over. It's time to leave the forest and return to your life, taking with you the memory of your run and how it made you feel. You can return to this forest again another time and experience the acceptance and the freedom it brings with it. It is there within you whenever you need to call upon it and to call upon the goddess Artemis. Turn back up the stone steps, bringing you back into your body, becoming aware of your body and your breathing, and slowly and gradually bringing your breathing back to normal and opening your eyes and becoming aware of yourself and your room. Give thanks to Artemis for your independence, your freedom to choose, and your strength. You can now repeat some of the affirmations for Artemis if you wish. Her affirmations are: I am free to choose my path in life. I am an independent spirit. I am focused and strong. I believe in myself. I have plenty of energy and drive. You can say one or more of these at your shrine. 3 is a good number for the moon goddess, and repeating any affirmation in sets of 3 is a good beginning. Remember to say them out loud, and if you want to write one of them down and take it with you when you go out, place it on a notice board at work, on your computer, or in your purse, do so. An exercise to connect with Artemis would be to create a natural space for her in your garden if you have one. Whilst you don't want it overrun with weeds, let it grow as naturally as possible, maybe growing some wildflowers there. You could hang wind chimes up or place a statue of a moon-gazing hare there, a string of moon shells or mirrors to reflect the light of the moon. Let it be your special place where you go to connect with her. If you don't have a garden, you can create small shrines in the wild out of natural objects you find in the wood or the forest, or wherever you're out walking that you can leave behind as an offering. A small circle of stones decorated with oak leaves and acorns, a garland of wild flowers hanging in a tree. Be imaginative and creative. The invocation to Artemis at a time of need is, Artemis, keep me focused and driven towards my goal. The full moon goddess has many names: Luna, Lucina, Selene, Isis, and Diana amongst them. This goddess represents coming into fullness, into your own power and the ability to create. The Egyptian goddess Isis is a powerful moon goddess, a queen of magic and mystery. It was she who knew the secret name of Ra and was able to bring her husband back to life. She was the ultimate wife and partner to Osiris, the Egyptian god of vegetation and the underworld, and mother to Horus, who overthrew the dark god Set. As befitting a moon goddess, she also ruled the seas and was invoked by ancient Egyptian sailors. She was powerful in her own right and knew the dark secret mysteries of magic, a perfect combination for this moon goddess. Many women are naturally aware of their changes as their own cycle progresses, some feeling more withdrawn as they reach their own moon time, and others feeling awkward and some even depressed. It's no coincidence that the word lunacy comes from the moon, as the changes of the moon not only affect the oceans of the world, the hibernation, migration and mating habits of animals, but also the growth of plants and trees. Is it possible the ancients understood that energy precedes matter, and that the spiritual world is the source of our earthly realm, constantly affecting us in its forms and events? We connect with the full moon mother goddess when we create something from ourselves, when we discover our own power, transform our lives, and when we fulfill our inner potential. The magical transformation that happens in the dark within ourselves, yet shines forth as we give it birth. Here is the meditation to connect with the goddess of the moon. Relax your body and bring your attention to within yourself. Become aware of your breathing and breathe slowly and deeply. Allow yourself to relax completely, relaxing your head, your back, arms, your legs. Let your mind be clear and let yourself go. Become aware of stepping onto some stepping stones beneath you. Follow them round in a spiral pattern, round and round. And as you reach the center of the pattern, you find yourself in a place in nature at night. As you stand at the center of your spiral of stones, you feel yourself begin to rise and grow. You can still feel your feet on the earth. In fact, you feel them descending into the earth like roots. You can feel the earth all around them as they move and grow through the dark, moist earth. The rest of you, though, is rising. And as you rise, you realize that the bones in your body are the same as the stones and the rocks in the earth. And the waters of the earth are coursing through you instead of blood. Fresh, clear, pure water streams from the mountains, rivers, seas, oceans, flowing through you, refreshing you, invigorating you as if they are the source of life itself. And as you breathe, your breath becomes the breezes in spring and summer, the autumn wind bringing change, the cold wind of winter. In your ears hear all the animal noises and bird song from around the world as you rise above the trees, above the clouds. You can hear the sun, you can hear the planets. And from your head and arms grow plants and flowers and trees and become part of the world around you. And as you rise into the midnight sky, you become alive and shine with the knowledge and awareness of your complete connection to all living things in the world. And at the center of all this growth, movement, and transformation, you radiate serenity as the knowledge of all natural cycles flows through you. Birth, growth, and death are all one and the same, and you understand, and let them all become part of you and flow through you. Allow yourself to dwell in this moment for a time. Gradually feel yourself begin to descend to earth, with all the water, wind, bird song, knowledge and awareness remaining inside you. Feel the roots beneath you recede up into your feet. Come down through the clouds, through the trees, and gradually become aware of you yourself, standing at the center of the spiral steps. And return on them, round and round, until you become aware that you're back in your room, aware of your body and where you are, and allow your breathing to return to normal. This was a very powerful meditation, so give yourself plenty of time to dwell on your impressions and feelings afterwards, and make a note of anything you feel was significant for you. Eat a biscuit or have a soft drink to ground you back to earth again. The affirmations for the goddess of the moon are: I am connected to all living things. I own my natural power. I transform and change with ease. My inner light will shine through the darkness. I am unique. The time of the full moon is a time of culmination and fulfillment, and a perfect time to set aside for any meditation on the goddess of the moon. One thing you can do to become more aware of the phases of the moon is to make a lunar calendar to show the different phases. You can discover the times on the internet or in an almanac sold in most bookshops. You could make observations on the growth of plants at the different phases, or make notes as to how you feel, or how your friends or relatives feel, or see if there is any disturbance with your pets and notice if there is a pattern. The full moon is also a great time to create moon water. Buy some distilled water and place in a bowl on the night of the full moon. Offer it with a prayer to Selene and leave it where it can collect the moon's rays. This moon water can be used to wash special crystals or for blessings. Did you know that each month of the moon has a traditional name? Names such as Blood Moon, Moon of Flowers, and Wolf Moon are old names. Research into these names and where they came from can be quite interesting. Creating moon water in the Moon of Flowers, for example, would be great to use for the blessing of a wedding present. The invocation or prayer to the goddess of the moon is, "Silver moon, goddess of the sea, teach me how to honor thee." Hecate is the dark side of the moon goddess. She represents the crone or the keeper of wisdom. She was always associated with gateways, places of transformation, where life met death, and thus crossroads were her sacred place. She was depicted with 3 faces, which would suggest that it is only in the crone phase of our lives we encompass all 3 aspects of the moon goddess. We are strong and fearless as we have nothing left to fear. We have created and know our own power, and now in the last phase of our lives, we contain all of that knowledge and experience. Hecate was often feared. People instinctively fear that which they cannot control. And nowadays, older women are often considered past it, and in a culture of youth and beauty, the change of life can bring difficulties and challenges for women facing the loss of her childbearing years, children moving away, and the loss of looks or figures. With an understanding of Hecate, though, this loss can be transformed into strength, and the 3rd phase of a woman's life can really become the most fulfilling and rewarding. Other dark goddesses are the Morrigan and Kali, both of whom are connected with death. In our present-day world, death is almost a taboo subject, and we often grieve on our own, not knowing how to express our grief or understand another's. The presence of a goddess that presides over death and dying demonstrates the ancient acceptance of death as part of the cycle of life. Denial of death leads to a culture where death is unable to be understood or assimilated by those left alive. Accepting death is the beginning of understanding that life goes on for those remaining and supports the grieving process. Thus, an understanding of a goddess who demonstrates the inevitability of death can teach us all something very significant. Hecate's symbols were a key, representing the ability to unlock the secret wisdom that is contained in the dark of the unknown, and a torch to light the way with our inner light. We connect with Hecate when we know better but say nothing, when we know our value and power but use it wisely, and when we understand that change is not only inevitable but necessary. We seek Hecate's wisdom when we are visited by dark times, such as bereavement, divorce, heartbreak, loss, abandonment, and loneliness. Searching within ourselves for a way through the darkness, or an inner light and a way to help us get through the pain, the sorrow, and the guilt, and lead us to a better place. A way that accepts and understands what has happened and can make way for understanding and peace. The affirmations to Hecate are, "This is a passing phase and all things must change. I will get through this and emerge stronger and wiser. I will endure and transform the pain into strength of character. This experience has given me depth, without which I would not understand. This pain offers me the possibility to see parts of myself that could not have been illumined without it." Exercises to Hecate are psychic exercises. Anything that involves developing your sixth sense is appropriate here. So maybe this is a good time to learn tarot, or crystal ball gazing, or exploring mediumship, channeling, developing a connection with your spirit guide or animal spirit. One thing you can do is scrying. This involves looking into a piece of obsidian, sheet obsidian, polished like a dark mirror. And if you don't have such a thing, you can make a scrying bowl by placing water within a bowl and adding some black ink. This is a very ancient method of opening the inner eye. You can place a candle near the bowl and look at the reflection of the candle in the bowl, or just gaze into the bowl itself. This is a perfect exercise for connecting with Hecate. The invocation to Hecate in a time of darkness is, "Hecate, lead me from the darkness and help me find my inner light of wisdom." Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love and beauty, whom the Romans called Venus, was the most powerful of goddesses, and she had the most beautiful titles. She was a lover of laughter, and was frequently known as Golden Aphrodite. Doves, roses, apples and swans were attributed to her, as well as gardens, hence we often find her statues nowadays in our own garden centres. Her stories are quite well known. Her birth off the shore of Paphos in Cyprus has been immortalised in the painting by Botticelli, and statues of Venus are known to many of us, her most beautiful ones living in the Louvre in Paris and the British Museum. She had many lovers, and among them her liaison with Ares, god of war, was a powerful one, which produced a child called Harmony. What else could come from such a passionate encounter between love and war? Her sexuality and sensuality has a place in every area of life, from the ladies of the night, well, why shouldn't they have a goddess of their own, to lovers everywhere, married or not, men with men, women with women, even the coupling of animals. She represents them all, every single aspect of loving connection. Many of us call upon the goddess of love more than other goddesses, because without love, life appears to have no meaning, so a lack of love in our lives can become all-consuming. Before we can attract love into our lives, we have to love ourselves, hence the mirror being one of Aphrodite's symbols. When we feel that powerful connection with another, we see ourselves through their eyes, and their love is mirrored back to us, which in turn transforms us into becoming a goddess of love ourselves. When we fall in love with someone, however, who does not love us, that powerful longing becomes amplified pain. Kuan Yin, the Chinese goddess of love, represents the love of compassion. It is said out of love for humans that she chose to stay near us to help us with that pain rather than continue into the realms of immortal beings. There are indeed many forms of love. There is the love of life, which can encourage us to explore and fulfill our potential. A love of others, which can literally move mountains with an ocean of compassion. A love of truth, which leads us to understanding. And a love of God, which can lead us to enlightenment. We love our parents, our children, our pets, our home, our work, our friends, our country, and we love what we do. So much love in the world. So why are so many without it? It's because we forget it all starts within, that we have to meet the goddess of love within ourselves first, before we can share or give love to others. And to meet her ourselves, we have to expose all the defenses we build up to prevent love from coming in. Defenses such as guilt, fear, mistrust and control. And we need to understand them in order for them not to have power over us. In understanding them, we can understand others, and that deepens our experience of love. Love without understanding has little depth and is destined to fade and die. And as the well-known Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh says, "If you do not understand me, you cannot love me." We need to understand ourselves and our loved ones in order to truly be able to love them. Love is also represented by the heart, at the center of our bodies and beings. An open heart leads to abundance in its many forms, hence the saying, "You get what you give." And in this money-conscious age, some very wealthy people have begun to demonstrate that the best investment they have ever made has been to give to a worthwhile cause, as this investment is more than doubled in the feeling and well-being that is returned. Thus, the Hindu love goddess Lakshmi is also the goddess of abundance. The goddess of love also rules our sexuality. How open we are with our minds and hearts will expose itself in our sexuality. How sensual are you? How much do you trust in relationships and delight in the intimate closeness, not just of heart and mind, but of body too? Often a problem in one area is often shown up in others, and thus a need to control or a lack of trust can be demonstrated in our sexuality. We can learn a lot from observing and considering our own sexual behavior. Here is a meditation to connect with the goddess of love. Relax your body and bring your attention to within yourself. Become aware of your breathing and breathe slowly and deeply. Allow yourself to relax completely. Relax your arms, legs, your back. Let go of your head and shoulders, and let go of all thoughts and worries. Begin to be aware of facing a gentle breeze coming in from the sea. When you find yourself in a cave close to the sea, yet you can sense the breeze and hear the waves in the distance. Walk out of the cave and out of the darkness towards the sound, and become aware of being on a wild and beautiful beach. There is soft sand beneath your feet, and the waves are gently rolling in. There is a light breeze, and you can taste the salt on your tongue. Have a little walk along this beach until you find a spot you'd like to settle at. It might be next to a rock, in an open space. You might be looking at the sea from a distance, or you might be at the water's edge. Wherever you are, sit and observe the beauty of the sea, with sunlight sparkling on the water like radiant jewels. Watch the white foam as it appears now and then on the crest of a wave. And as you watch the sunlight playing on the waves, it seems as if something else is approaching on the surface of the water. At first it's just a golden glow, almost as if the sun itself was rising out of the water. And gradually, as it comes closer, you begin to see shape within the golden light, and you can hear laughing voices. And the sound of laughter lifts your spirits and makes you want to laugh too. And as the shape appears and becomes clearer, you see the most beautiful woman standing naked on a large shell. She has abundant long golden hair, and she's laughing at some small cherubs flying around her, playing with her and dropping flowers around her. And she appears enraptured by their antics and lifts her arms up to welcome the sunlight and the breeze that gently caresses her. Her sensuality and ease with her nakedness is apparent. She completely entrances you. And after a while, she looks directly at you with her beautiful blue eyes. And as she looks at you, you feel enveloped in her golden glow of love. Every hurt you have ever felt, every negative thought you have ever thought, every unkind deed you have ever done, or any thoughtless act you have allowed to happen, feels healed in this one moment, as if the presence of love itself can change everything about you in this one encounter. Bask in this feeling. Allow yourself to be completely enveloped in love. Let it flood through your mind, your arms, your legs, your back, your face, and into your very heart and soul. And as the golden light of love flows through your body, feel it healing every part of you that has ever felt unhappy or sad or lonely, and feel your pain soothe. Feel guilt and regret melt away. And be aware that any pent-up anger and resentment you have in your life now, you can release up into the ocean in front of you. And be aware that in the presence of Goddess of Love, you will be healed of all that pain. And feel yourself loved as if never before. Then allow your heart to open and respond. Close your eyes and be aware of every cell in your body responding to love. And gradually open your eyes and be aware of the ocean in front of you, with a golden glow where the goddess once was. Her love now lives within you, and you can call upon it in times of doubt and loss. And be aware that it is always there for you whenever you have need of it. And gradually make your way back to the beach. And as you do so, you see that the goddess Aphrodite has left something for you on the beach. Pick it up and treasure it. It's for you and you alone. Walk back to the cave and sense the lightness of step and heart Now that you have experienced the laughter and love that is Aphrodite, and gradually walk back to yourself in the cave and become aware of your body and your breathing, and allow yourself to return to normal. Have a drink or something to eat and make notes about everything you can remember about your encounter. Everyone should meet Aphrodite. Love really does change everything. Affirmations for Aphrodite are: I am loved. I have love in my life. Love is my strength. I love my body, my mind, and my soul. I love my life. As Aphrodite had her own magic girdle, we can create our own one with coloured threads. If you take a pink ribbon long enough to reach around your waist and tie comfortably, collect some coloured threads and one by one tie these onto the ribbon. Each thread, though, has to represent a love of something in your life or a loving action you've made. You can be quite imaginative with this and add charms, such as shells, maybe to represent the connection Aphrodite has with the sea and a love you have of the sea itself. Or maybe you could use a different coloured thread to represent different people in your life. Something like a green thread to represent a love of nature, maybe with a small stone or acorn or something attached. An act of compassion, generosity of spirit, or loving kindness should also be remembered, each one to remind you of the power of love that you own. Add to this from time to time, and when you feel the need of Aphrodite and to be reminded of the love in your life, wear it to remind you of how much love you have. The invocation for Aphrodite is: Golden Aphrodite, help me to keep my heart open to love in all its forms. The goddess comes to us all in so many unique and personal ways. It sometimes seems to me that she comes to us in the one way we are able to understand her at any one time, and although that form differs as we grow and evolve, it becomes clear over a period of time that she's always been with us from the beginning. And so, in seeking her, invite her into your heart. When you are at the seaside, call upon Yamanya, goddess of the sea, for her magic to enter your life. When you're walking through the woods, call upon Artemis to teach you the language of nature and wildlife and how to be a free spirit. When you are studying for an exam or going for a difficult business meeting, call upon Athene to help you keep a clear mind. And when you're going away with your lover, take some scented Aphrodite oil and ask Aphrodite to be with you. There are many more goddesses, goddesses of creativity, of magic, of children, animals, spring, summer, autumn and winter, birth, death, life, earth, air, fire and water, goddesses of heaven and goddesses of home. To discover them is the beginning of a lifelong love affair with the divine feminine. I hope that this recording has helped you to discover a small part of yourself where the goddess may dwell. May she forever keep you in her loving embrace. This is an excerpt from a prayer to the goddess from the Gnostic Gospels. It's called Thunder, Perfect Mind. I have issued from a great power, and visit all who contemplate me. I have been discovered by those who search diligently. Pay attention, those that meditate upon me, and listen well. All of you who are patiently waiting, take me to yourself. I am the first and the last. I am both respected and ignored. I am both harlot and holy. I am wife and virgin, mother and daughter, organs of my mother, barren yet many are my sons. I am she whose marriage is auspicious, but I am husbandless. I am the unfathomable silence, and the thought that comes often, the voice of many sounds, and the word that appears frequently. I am the meaning of my name. If you deny me, then admit me. You who pretend to tell the truth about me really lie, yet you who've lied about me also tell the truth. I am knowledge and ignorance. I am embarrassment and effrontery. Shameless and ashamed, I am courage and fright. I am war and peace. Listen. I am disgraced yet almighty. Notice my poverty and richness. I've been hated everywhere but also adored. I am that which people call life and you call death. I am called the law and lawlessness. I am the hunted and the captured. I am both godless and she who knows God is great. I am the one you've contemplated and mocked. I am ignorant, yet I teach. I am despised, yet admired. I am the one who conceals and then reveals herself. But when you conceal yourself, I shall appear. And when you appear, I'll hide. My nature is peace, but war comes from me. And on the day you are distant, I am close. I am within your heart. I am your true nature, the creativity of yourself.